Hello?
Gonna drop off some
what's going
coffee
on,
and stuff that I'm not gonna need. There you go.
Ooh, thank you.
Okay.
He's leaving food for us.
No, very nice, very nice.
How have you been, Ajax?
Hanging in there, trying to get some things sorted out. How's everything else been progressing?
FOIA audit has been submitted. The Marshal one has been, a lot of hours went into that. The final edit is being sorted, and then that's going to be sent as well. In regards to the Pred case, Tony, that's all you, brother.
Reviewed all the stuff already. I got most of the questioning done for Peter's deposition. I was going to talk to you about ironing out the stuff we want to attack and how we want to attack each specific piece of evidence to dismiss it in the pretrial.
Well, I don't think we need to attack it each specific piece, right? The information that is basically invalid because of the expungement, we just lump together because of that.
Right. There's some pieces that came out after the expungement, which I think they would argue, delayed discovery, some bullshit like that.
Sure.
It's more so for those specific reports that came afterwards. Because what was the cutoff? Was it like the 26th? I think was his expungement, or was it before that?
I thought they said the 14th.
14th? Okay. Oh, wait, the 26th is one of the numbers that they throw in the subpoenas, which it's either he lost his weapons license on the 6th or he lost his weapons license on the 26th. They switched between those two on the subpoenas, so.
Correct, but I mean, even still, they didn't show any probable cause that he had purchased any of these firearms after he got his weapons license back.
Yep.
On top of that, just kind of thinking about there's a few other things we need to kind of go over with it, but
We just need to, me and you, we just need to talk shop and just iron out what stuff on paper, and then
yeah, pretty much.
Point of attack.
Yep. The only thing that I have concern about with the deposition for Peters is if Hallow is even going to entertain any other motions during that if they aren't filed beforehand. I know you wanted to kind of lay it all there during the deposition, but
go ahead.
I was just say having them filed at least 24 hours before the deposition, maybe that way we can actually address them during that hearing.
I was probably gonna use a tactic I learned from Grace and them, which was to basically mention that, like, hey, I have many objections to make or motions to make regarding this. We'd like to use this day or this pretrial hearing to address those.
He may still ask you to file them, just an FYI.
Yeah.
And with how they were already crying about not getting a chance to respond and having to respond within a couple of hours, that's more than likely going to be a similar argument if we don't bring them up beforehand. That was my only worry about that portion of it, but.
Have they talked to you about the paralegal stuff, or like how to get you to be defined as a paralegal? Because they kind of swapped out the
Nope, haven't talked to me about that. None of the judges I've asked to look into how I can go about getting my bar license back have responded about that. And with Angel's posting on my review request, I'm looking at just filing a civil suit against the DOJ. Because she outright stated that there is no process or no mechanism in place to get that done. Yet if you go up those goddamn stairs, there's an office that says head of the bar. So therefore there is a mechanism in place. She's just been negligent in her duty to get it reappointed.
Yeah, the whole entire I mean, let's call it spade a spade. It's all fucking horse shit.
No, 100%. But that's
when
we
you
have
have
to play the
someone
game.
pop out of thin air and get a bar license, which I only just heard, and then is taking on all these cases to support the removal of pred at all cost, and an attorney that is very clearly creating a circumstance where they're planning to hold all information until the last 48 hours so that the defense has to scramble. You're dealing with extreme horseshit. So for there to be an excuse as to why you get removed because your politics do not align is egregious, malicious, and quite frankly, had it been 100 years ago, would have resulted in a public execution.
I don't disagree with you, Nino. Again, I think the politics had a big part to play because I definitely was very vocal about my support for Pred as well as my stance on how the judges and justices are, or for that matter, not doing their jobs.
Well, I wouldn't say it's like a collective, right? It's just we're pointing out I don't think it's a collective. Tyranny, right? And
but that's the thing. There's one person at the top that's making the decisions for everybody, and nobody wants to, nobody wants to grow a pair and stand up and say, hey, this is kind of horseshit.
Oh, there are, motherfucker. What do you think we're doing?
Well, us, yes, but I mean, in there are no judges, there are no justices that are willing to, put it on the line.
There are. I'm sorry if I come across as overly defensive, but
you're fine.
They exist. It's the reason why I come to some of their defenses. I'm gonna put it this way, right? A lot of people, likely in this city, 90% probably think we're not doing shit, right?
Sure.
My office isn't doing shit. And that's because they're not exposed to the day-to-day, the documents that are being written, the petitions that are being written. They're only going to see the outcome, right? Correct. So I, under that same lens, would argue that there's probably a lot of internal discussion behind, like, judges' chambers, internal communications, whatever it may be, for things to change. And I think the evidence of that, while small, is highlighted by the fact that not only was our contest approved, however, even when the letter was sent out and Angel had a lot to say about it, everything we had demanded came to reality, including judges having to, at minimum, have a majority vote on what got passed into state law. So I think in the same vein, I'm sure there's a lot of judges that listen and we just don't know what they're actioning, right? And
true,
I just got 24-hour sanitation like 3 months later, right? It took a while, but it got here. Sometimes it just takes some time, right? It's just bureaucracy at the end of the day.
No, I get that. It's just from my perspective, I guess is the right way to phrase it. It's hard to see, some of that movement, and hopefully there are people, in there that are willing to do what it takes. But
is in my chat right now.
It's a lack of faith in some individuals.
Is that a copy pasta?
But I've noticed that we haven't had any movement on anything that's been put forth on the docket for, any of the legislative proposals and whatnot. Has there been no movement on, like, getting an agreement put together to kind of get all this settled, or?
Sorry, I saw something on Twitter that I couldn't help look away from. Ask that last part again.
So there hasn't been any movement and whatnot on the docket for the legislation that's been put forward. So have there been no movement? No,
because it's all paused. Yeah, because the process is. Technically, according to the document, the DOJ does not. The only thing that's in question. So let me speak frankly. It's only the DOJ's portion that's on pause. But you know damn well that it'll be used as an excuse why nothing else passes through.
Yeah,
which may make you understand why I never threw the stones in my first term, because I knew some bullshit like this would probably happen. right? And I got a lot of shit for it, right? And even in the conversation, remember when I told you to walk away? And I was like, and I'm like, guys, fucking simmer down. We can't just start impeaching this, impeach that, da 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 da, because it takes a while, and that's why your arrow needs to be sharp, or like straight, because once you fire it, you're not gonna know for like God knows how long. So you don't want to, you know, be like spending 2 weeks being like, fuck, if only we had waited for these other things. So with that being said, I'm kind of glad what happened to you occurred, because the person that looks over the bar license told you to suck a dick over your politics, right?
Yeah.
And that is going to substantiate this effort we got going on in the background, which is the reconsolidation and disjointment of the bar license.
Yep. Now,
So-
who was specifically working on that? Because I don't remember. I know you had asked me to kind of work on it a little bit.
Yeah, my office is. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So, yeah, that's making forward progress. Like I said, everything's coming in priority form. Like, yesterday was the FOIA. Tonight is probably going to be the Marshal one. It might even be ready.
Well, hopefully what I sent you was helpful on that.
It was a good starting point.
Well, and that's all I was able to come up with was a good starting point. There was so much wrong with it that I didn't want to have to go through and disseminate every single thing. But
I'll put it this way:
it would be a fairly large document to do so. But I mean, if that's what you guys are doing, then by all means. But I feel sorry for whoever's taking on that headache. There's a lot that needed correcting in it, and it was hard to go through.
Our primary document that's gone through 5 different revisions is 8 pages long. The appendix document is 8. The second appendix document is 11. And that doesn't even include what you wrote or who else wrote in the process. The conclusion that we came to today was that there is so much inherently wrong with even the original document. Specifically the introduction and preamble that effectively is a political statement codified, that we were like, let's tackle the over encroaching, but then highlight that this entire thing needs to be redone. And the way that it is written is to say, just as marshals in the United States would not cross into another jurisdiction or take over, claim ownership of a case just whenever they feel like it, right? There needs to be a process. There needs to be like fences put in place, and those things need to be clearly defined. Otherwise, you'll end up with another Judge Dredd trying to, like, you know, push the envelope.
Nope, I definitely agree with that 100%.
Yep. Anyways, all right, boys. Look, I'm gonna go take a run. Anything we need to discuss?
No, I just wanted to catch up. Like I said, I took a few days. I flew out to Russia.
Easy.
Blew off some steam.
Oh yeah. All right. Good shit. Like a little town in Tarkov or somewhere else.
Yeah.
Understandable. Oh yeah. All right. Well, you
it's
got Tony,
it's
so he
to shoot
can.
people there. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm down to like chat sometime tomorrow. It's just past. It's cooked o'clock for me. So.
No worries. I understand completely.
All right. Easy.
We'll talk tomorrow morning when Fred's around.
Yeah.
I'll try to wake up earlier to get all that.
That's a really good idea. I like that.
Yeah, I can be up pretty damn early tomorrow, so we can definitely iron as much out as we can.
Y'all take care.
Take care, Nino.
Have a good one, Nino. Have a good one, Tilly.